This crossbow build is absolutely tearing it up in 0.3. We're spamming tons of grenades and covering the entire ground with fire. And this build's great because it works for both the Mercenary and the Ranger. Not only does it have crazy AoE, but it's melting bosses and rare mobs with no problem. In my previous video, I covered acts 1 through 3, and in this video, I'm going to focus on a little bit more of the mid-game. I just started mapping on it, and it feels great. So I'm going to make sure you have the tools you need to be successful. But before I get into the details, if you enjoy my content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll also be live on Twitch at twitch.tv/screamheart if you want to come by, or just come chill with me. Now let me break the build down for you. So at this point in the game, I've simplified the build down to 4 different abilities. Our main ability is going to be our explosive grenade. This one we can shoot out. We have 3 grenades, or more depending on your specific setup. For example, if you have the correct crossbow, you're going to get an extra grenade. And these grenades are going to blow up pretty quickly. Not only are they blowing up, but they have a chance to blow up twice. Now for the large majority of content, that's all you need. You can run through, and as you're running through, you toss out grenades, and you keep running. You never have to stop. But if you want to empower your grenades, you can use rapid shot and build up stacks, which you can see in the top left, and get to 15. Then you'll consume those stacks to do even more damage. And the same works with our other skill, cluster grenade. This one's got a slightly longer fuse, not much longer, and after it explodes you see that it does a massive AoE. This one I pretty much alternate back and forth with my explosive grenade, but it has a longer cooldown, so use this more for priorities. For example, I really like using it on essences, strong boxes, the abyss fissures, or anything where enemies are going to continuously spawn, and obviously for bosses. Now aside from the explosive grenade, the cluster grenade, and our rapid shot, the only other skill we're really using is mortar cannon. This one we're throwing down, and you can't see it right now because there's no enemies nearby, but this mortar cannon shoots in every direction, and it's shooting oil grenades, which coats the entire ground in oil, increasing your fire damage to enemies by lowering their resistances, and also igniting everything. I'll probably tie more ignite stuff into the build as I go further, but right now I don't even need it. And then I'm also using leap slam in my offhand just so I can jump over gaps, but that's not necessary. It's just nice to have. Now for the passive tree, you have options. I think the best ascendancies for this are going to be anything under Mercenary or Ranger. As you can see, I already go up for the movement speed on the Ranger side anyways, so it's literally no different for either one. For example, I know Deadeye is pretty popular, so you could definitely use Deadeye for this build. In fact, it might be the strongest option. But I'm personally going with Witch Hunter because I want to experiment with the Weapon Master. And yes, if you watched my last video, I was on Tactician, I decided against it. So for the skill tree, we're basically focusing on getting as much projectile damage as possible, as well as getting as much cooldown and area of effect as possible. We're getting more damage from two-handed weapons. We're using these specialized grenade nodes in order to get one more cooldown use on our grenades. If you feel like you're comfortable with the higher detonation time, you can definitely go with cluster bombs here as well. And this is going to give you one more projectile. But I find that when I'm sprinting through, I like just a little more speed. Speaking of speed, I've grabbed pretty much all the movement speed that you can find in these general areas. Over here, I've got reduced detonation time, more cooldown reduction, damage and AoE, as well as more cooldown reduction. Right now, I'm turning my evasion into armor because I didn't have enough to really benefit anyways, but eventually I'm probably going to use more evasion, but we'll see how that works out. I went for this node here, which is actually pretty good. This is a new node, and it gives you 5% maximum life and 5% movement speed, assuming that you have enough support gems in. And I actually just threw support gems that I didn't even need and a lot of skills I'm not using, just so that I could hit those bonuses. Because 5% life and 5% movement speed is quite good. Over here, I went for more attack speed. These ones I'll probably end up speccing out of, but for now it works. Down here, I've got the chance for the second activation in the grenades, and then a chance to automatically reload my bolts, which is pretty nice. Over here, I went for some Culling Strike stuff, which is my Witch Hunter specific stuff. So I wouldn't recommend going for this normally, but if you are a Witch Hunter, it's definitely useful. And same thing up here. I've got more Culling Strike threshold, but honestly this one's not too bad because it gives you the max life and mana on kill, but I still wouldn't do it unless you're using the Culling Strike. And actually I should probably unspec this Blinding Flash and go for the Jewel Socket. So that's about it for the passive tree at the moment. Now I'm going Witch Hunter, so obviously it's going to be way more chaotic when I actually start splitting off into 2 different branches, but this is a good general start for anybody. Now I'm not far enough in to where I've been picky with my jewels yet, so basically go for anything you can find that's useful. For example, here I've got some increased attack damage, accuracy, and crossbow reload speed. Obviously, these aren't my preferred stats, but they're not too bad. But if you're ever wondering what stats you should go for, take a look at the nodes I've already put in, and that should give you a clue as to what you should go for. Now I'm going to go through the specifics of the gems, but first briefly, let's talk about items. On your crossbow, just focus on getting as much damage as possible, along with levels 2 projectile skills. For your armor and stuff, just focus on getting as much resist as possible, as well as getting as much max life as possible, and then you can kind of choose which one you want to go towards. I went more for armor, but you could focus more on evasion or a combination of the two. Load up on as much damage as possible on your rings, as well as your gloves. And for your boots, focus on just the movement speed. So for my gems right now, on my explosive grenade, I'm using my multi-shot 2, short fuse, and payload. Now payload is optional. If you feel like you want to spam more, you could swap this out for some pure damage, and that'd be fine as well. Also, if your damage is just extremely high, you could go for short fuse too, but it reduces your damage, so be careful with that one. For my rapid shot and cluster grenade, I haven't been too technical with them so far. I've just kind of thrown gems in there that seem pretty good. But for my rapid shot, I've got elemental armament 2 for damage, fire attunement for damage, and fresh clip for damage. I think the next iteration I'll probably do is changing my rapid shot so that it doesn't actually give me really damage, but purely just to build up the extra damage from my grenades. But we'll see what I end up doing with that. For my cluster grenade, again, I'm going for elemental armament 2 for damage, payload for the chance for a second activation. And this one's cooldown is a little bit rough, so I definitely say if you're going to remove one of the payloads, cluster grenade's payload is a little more problematic, but it works fine for me, but adjust it to your own playstyle. And then I'm using deliberation for some more damage, but you could get a little bit more damage if you did something like concentrated effect, especially if you're trying to use it for bosses or rare mobs more. For my mortar cannon, I'm going with the oil grenade, Nova projectiles, which makes it shoot out in all directions, and magnified area to get even more AoE. We're not worried about the damage with this, we just want as much AoE and as many projectiles in as many places as possible, and that's what's covering the entire ground with fire. In my leap slam, I'm running rapid attack still. It's not that important, I only use it to jump over gaps. I've really gotten into the habit of sprinting, but be careful with those sprints. For Herald of Ash, I'm going with magnified area, and I have a bunch of support gems now, so I'll probably add some more damage here. I'm running Time of Need just for some extra survivability, and I've got Vitality 2 in here, as well as Compressed Duration so I get it more often. And you can ignore the Gas Grenade and Defiance Banner, I'm not actually using them, those are there just for the support gems so I can get my bonuses. And just so there's no confusion, when I say bonuses, I'm talking about the bonuses from this node here. Now I'm going to open up a low tier map just so you guys can see some of the gameplay and how it works. So when you get into an area, you don't really need to do anything, there's no preparation, but typically I'll start sprinting towards enemies. As soon as I get close to enemies, so there's some here, I'll shoot out my grenades, they'll die from those. I'll roll past enemies, toss some more grenades, let them die, shoot some more, let these guys die. There's a bigger group, you know, like a magic group, so then I toss my cluster bomb too. You can see that my oil all over the ground's doing crazy work. So whenever you get a bigger group, you can use a combination of the other stuff. But whenever it's a small group, usually you can just go with one little blast and let them die like that. Anytime I see any effects, such as this, I automatically assume that it's a rare mob or a magic pack, and I'll start tossing a little bit more onto them. Now this guy's got proximity, that's why he wasn't dying. And then I'll keep running, shoot my grenades at enemies, shoot a grenade, shoot a grenade, shoot a grenade, just keep tossing those grenades, let everything die as you're running by. If anything's a little tankier, you can toss a little bit more at it. Here's a rare mob, so toss a little bit more at it. Ain't dead. Keep running. You get the idea. So this is a bigger group, tossed a cluster in the middle there. Now if you want to empower your attacks more, like I was saying, use those rapid attacks. But usually when you're running through like this, you're not going to use the rapid shot too much. There's more for bossing. But you can prep it beforehand, so I could get 30 stacks here. And now I have enough for both of my attacks, and I can toss them out as soon as I get into the fight. And as you can see, the entire ground is absolutely covered. It's really cool, actually, when you watch the oil spraying out in all directions. You can see kind of like the little waves. It's really neat. Alright, and then we got our last enemy here. We're tossing some grenades. He's gonna die, and we're done. So as you can see, we've got tons of AoE. It's very fast paced for something that you wouldn't consider would be fast paced with the fuses, and I find it extremely satisfying. Now I'm going to continue to iterate on this build and perfect it, so be prepared for an endgame version, and I might even do several iterations after that until I get it exactly where I want it. But for now, I'm going to give you guys an update each day to make sure you're up to the same page I'm at, and enjoy the build. I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you do too. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.
Subscribe to Scream Heart. He's more than an old fart. He makes lots of fun builds. I promise his streams chill. He should probably be faster. Come watch this disaster.